Hi, and welcome to the Communication Club meeting for May 7th, 2019 on personal branding. We always get started with our access and accommodations announcement. Your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are any aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. And again, today's topic is on personal branding. I think we've all been taught that a firm handshake, professional dress, sound credentials are the makings for a good first impression. But today, that's really no longer enough. Now, making an unforgettable first impression in person is no longer the only way to establish your brand, and it is your brand. Your unique brand message differentiates you from your competition, shows the best that you have to offer, gives a good indication of what you're like to work with. And it also shows how you can make things happen. So let's get over to our presentation. You'll see in the resources area there are two files. You can download those. One is on using LinkedIn and Twitter for your brand, and the other is the Communication Club elevator speech document. The web link is to a personal branding guide that Kira provided earlier. So again, welcome to the Communication Club meeting. I think one of the first things we're going to start with is definition of brand. So brand is one of those words that's widely used, but maybe not so well understood unless you're working in marketing or another communication type role. So what does brand mean, and how has the word application changed over time? So the first definition of brand, it's the name given to a product or service from a specific source. So used in this sense, brand is similar to the current meaning of the word trademark. So back in the day, cattle ranchers used branding irons to indicate which animals were there. As the cattle moved on their way to slaughterhouses, it was easy to determine which ranches they were from because each head of cattle was branded. And with the use of packaged goods and the rise of that in the 19th century, producers put their mark on a wide array of products to indicate their source. In the late 1800s, for example, the Coca-Cola company was getting started, there were a lot of soda producers in every market. So before Coca-Cola could get a customer to reach for a Coke, it needed to be sure the customer could distinguish a Coke from all the other fizzy caramel-colored beverages out there. And you might say that, I don't know anything about branding. I think you know more than you think you do. So whether you work at a company or you're a consumer, you're aware of the company's branding, the meaning of the name, the representation, and the differentiation from other companies. So we're going to have a little quiz. On brand identity. You ready? All right, so can you identify this brand and what it stands for? And you can type or you can speak. The mics are open. I just ask that if you have your mic open, unmuted, you mute it when you want to just listen and then unmute it when you want to talk. So that way we don't get any feedback. So who's this? What brand is this? You don't even see the coloring, the brand colors, or anything. And you guys know it's MasterCard. You know what it stands for. You know what it is. What's this one? That's right. It's Nike. Is it Nike or Nike? I always say Nike, but so you know what they stand for. It's an athletic company. You know what it's all about. Here's another one. Mickey D's, those golden arches. I tell you, there's nothing so wonderful when you're on the road for a long time than seeing those golden arches coming up in the distance. And here's the last one. Of course, Apple. I don't know. The fries are different than they were back when I was a kid. They taste a little different. They're not as good as they used to be. But I'll keep that to myself. Okay. See, you had no trouble with that. Branding is part of our everyday life. The question today is no longer if you have a personal brand, but whether you choose to guide and cultivate it. Your personal brand is an extension of who you are and what you stand for. So let's keep going with our quiz here, because brands not only apply to products. Now, who is this and what is their brand? Martha Stewart. Do you know what she stands for? Do you know what she believes in? Do you know what she's good at? Absolutely. Because her brand is synonymous with her. Do we know who this is? And what was his brand? What he stood for? That's right. Steve Jobs. You knew exactly what he stood for. You knew him probably more than you knew the company. So that goes to show you that personal branding is just as prevalent today as product branding. And who is this person? And what is her brand? The big O, Oprah, right? What is her product, quote unquote? Right? Exactly. Herself, self-help, positivity, standing in your truth. That sounds like something she would say, right? So you see how and why personal branding is important. How you are seen and the credibility you build is imperative to your career, whether you work for yourself or someone else. You need to work on your brand all the time, and I mean all the time. Every interaction with a colleague, a coworker, a client, a customer, or boss adds to your brand. It adds to what people say about you when you're not in the room. So, branding you. What's your personal brand? What's your unique brand message? How does Katrina differentiate herself from any of the other people out there? And I'm going to let the wise Brooklyn philosopher and sage Jay-Z give you his opinion on it. He says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. And why does he say that? He says that because you are a business, and business is good. You are a sole proprietor. You are goods and services. You generate profit and wealth. You are intellectual property, selling what can't be tangibly touched. You are full of ideas, protected by patent, copyright, and registration. And I know someone needs to hear this, so listen. You are the CEO of the You company. You're the big cheese. You're the head honcho. You're the top dog. You're the HBIC. You alone decides who gets promoted, demoted, or terminated in your life. You run this company named You, and all decisions go through you. So now that we have that groundwork, let's start branding you. And the first step, and it's a doozy, is to look within and ask yourself some questions. What are you passionate about? So you should identify both personal and professional passions. Your personal brand should be a blend of your expertise, infused with stories and lessons from your life experience. What do you want to be known for? So choose 1 to 3 areas. What am I good at? What advice or knowledge do people come to you for? What fires you up? Focus on using your strengths to your advantage. Define what areas you know you're strong in, and don't try to be something you're not. Authenticity is key in personal branding, so you want to showcase your genuine, true self. Be honest with yourself as to what expertise is and where you can provide value. So regardless of your prior work history or lack thereof or your level of expertise, life requires ongoing learning to stay on top of the trends and new methods that are evolving, as well as the broader technology picture. What gives you credibility? There's a saying, brand yourself before others do. What skills have you acquired through your life experiences? What training, credentials, certifications, awards, or proven success stories do you have to help establish your credibility? If there's something you want to be known for, you need to be actively engaged in it, writing, in trending discussions, attending conferences, or becoming recognized as an authority or thought leader in that area. The worst thing you can do is set up a website and label yourself an expert and have no experience or education to back it up. Start thinking about where you're already credible, or do what you need to do to become credible. And then you have to develop your brand story. And you can create your brand story with the 3 C's: character, conflict, and conclusion. So what's character? Well, character is you, who you are, where you came from. It's the narrative of who you are or were before the conflict. And then there's that conflict. What was the difficult experience or event that led to your breakthrough moment? Something people can relate to, leaves people saying, I know what that feels like, or that's my struggle now. And then there's the conclusion, a powerful ending. It's the result of your conflict, the aha moment, the change in perspective or the revelation that led you to your current mission or goal. What you've learned from your struggle, how you solved the problem, and how you are now equipped to help others overcome and achieve positive results too. It's not to be overly promotional, look what I did. It's to tie your experience back to the pain points of your audience and reveal how you can be the solution. We all have great experience and stories, so start weaving a professional narrative more completely. So the you company, you're not only the CEO, you're also the social media manager and the publicist. You want to learn how to build and manage an authentic, compelling personal brand on social media. So does your social media handles, does that align with your personal brand and persona? If someone searches you, where are they going to find? And they will. Think of each social media profile as a landing page for your personal brand. It's important to be consistent, attentive, and proactive. Before you post anything, practice your writing, hone those skills. So be authentic, be consistent across platforms, go to where your audience is. If you intend to work for a certain industry, well, where do people who work for that industry go online? What groups do they belong to? That's where your audience is. And then connect, connect, connect. Focus on building relationships instead of just how many followers you have. Monitor and control your social media. And then as your publicist, you want to follow the IFE strategy. Ask yourself before you post anything, is it interesting, funny, educational? Is it impressive, flattering, or embarrassing? Look at it through that lens. Focus more on quality conversations than quantity, and analyze your competitors. Is there someone out there doing what you want to do? What's their social media profile like? How does it compare to yours? And just remember, anything you post should be strategic and thought out. You don't have to create content. You can share articles, but you want to give insight and not just be a poster of other people's work. You want to give some insight. What do you take away from this? Your unique perspective on trending news. Join industry-related groups. Show who you are and what your personal brand stands for. Now, creating a personal brand doesn't happen overnight. Personal branding is more like a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it takes planning. You wouldn't set out for a trip without knowing where you were going and planning how to get there and back. Yet every day, most of us go about our lives and our careers without a vision for where we would like to be one day. Well, I'm glad to say that that ends now. Developing your personal brand is the proactive way of controlling your career development and how you are perceived in the marketplace. And a strong personal brand will impact your ability to get the right jobs, promotions, and increase your ability to attract talent and capital. And I know that some people, once they start asking themselves those questions and taking a look at their experience and seeing what they're really good at and what they're passionate at, might have some doubts. That little voice that says, I don't know anything, I'm not very good. Look at my competition over here. They've got all of this stuff, and I have nothing. So I'm going to give you a little story, a little parable that might help. It's the parable of the wise woodcutter. So there are these two woodcutters. One was big and strong, and one was small and lean. And they both had a goal to cut as many trees as possible in 3 days. By the end of day 1, they'd each cut down the same number of trees. Now, wanting to show up his partner, the larger woodcutter worked harder on day 2, but somehow the smaller man cut down more trees than he did. So you know how he started day 3. He was going to swing his axe faster, harder, and beat his partner. But on day 3, even though he started the day twice as determined and he swung his axe harder and faster, when he peeked over to check his partner's progress, he was shocked to see him sitting in the shade. So now he musters all his strength, but by the end of day 3, the lean woodcutter had cut 2 times as many trees as he had. Now frustrated, he demanded to know how he cut so many trees. Like, it's impossible. You're taking breaks. You're not even sweating. He says, I took time to sharpen my axe. So the question for you is, when was the last time you sharpened your axe? I know we sometimes get so busy we don't take time to sharpen your axe. And what is your axe? Your mind, your body, your heart, your soul. Sharpen your mind, your brain power. Sharpen your body, your muscle power. Sharpen your heart, your kindness power. Practice some empathy. Sharpen your soul, your relaxation power. You need time to think and relax and meditate, to be creative. Otherwise, we become dull and lose our effectiveness. So sharpen your axe. It's a small investment that pays dividends and helps you work smarter, not harder. Now, I say all this to say that there are free resources out there. My library has a connection to Lynda, which is basically LinkedIn Learning. So there are all types of courses that you can take. You can get certificates. And just for your own personal knowledge and improving your skills and learning something new, that's out there. There's YouTube. YouTube's out there. You can learn a new skill. You can learn a new software. You can learn how to increase your communication. There are lots of free resources out there. So saying, I don't have the money, today in this world isn't a good enough answer as to why you're not sharpening your axe, sharpening your mind. Take advantage of the resources at work. If they offer courses in different things, even if it may not be in your specific area, take it. You never know when you might come across someone and be able to have a conversation with them and expand your network based on this new knowledge. And I want to say to you that the clubs here on Connect are a great way to sharpen your saw. Because of the Communication Club, I now know how to create videos. I didn't know how to do that before. Communication Club Com Club Chat podcast. I'd never done a podcast before. I'd never used Audacity before to add music and clean up audio to a presentation. I'd never done that before. I'd never had a YouTube channel. Did you know that the club has a YouTube channel? Here's the link. Subscribe. I'd never done all of that. And that's what the Communication Club helped me do. So I encourage you to get involved with the various clubs, certainly with the Communication Club, and up your skills. There's a Bible verse that in Proverbs, I believe it is, and it's something to the effect of, men help each other, men sharpen each other, or something like that. And basically, people sharpen each other, and that's what these clubs do. So I want you to add something to your vocabulary. I want you to add this word, yet. Why do I want you to add this word? Well, because, as I just said, there are things I didn't know before I joined the Communication Club. Right? So next time, you're saying, I don't have the answer, I can't do this doesn't work, I can't afford this, I'm not good at this. You see how final those statements are? I want you to add the word yet. So say it with me. I don't have the answer yet. I can't do this yet. This doesn't work yet. I can't afford this yet. I'm not good at this yet. Yet opens the door for possibility. So make sure you add that word to your vocabulary. So when you see the gap between where you are and where you want to be, don't be discouraged. You don't have all the answers yet. You're not very good at that yet. You're the CEO of your company, of your life. So choose to develop your passion and make that plan to be conscious about your brand so that you can achieve your goals.